when I saw that, the way they came out and quickly released their book, I don't know how much time apart from getting married and the release of the book, but it just seemed very premature. I could have been wrong, and rightfully, because I'm a human being too. But again, humans are predictable. There's some things that you just see that you should just know that this is how this is potentially, most likely going to end up like, right? So now, did I sit around waiting for them to divorce? Absolutely not. I was hoping they prove me wrong. I was hoping that. So the lesson that I want us to pull out of this is this. Now she's back to quote unquote the streets, not the streets, but at least feeling free, looking like free on social media and all this kind of stuff. She's doing that. She's doing her thing, at least what she's trying to showcase. As a man, okay, as a man, I know, let me tell you this, I know that it's also bullshit, okay? What do I mean by bullshit? Women would generally, if they've gone through this kind of divorce situation, they would try to sugarcoat it. They tend to be vindictive in how they showcase, even though they may be suffering inside. And rightfully, sometimes a lot of women have gone through a lot of painful, emotional roller coasters before they pull the trigger on the divorce or check out of the relationship. From the look of things, it looks like she checked out and he filed for the divorce. That's what it looks like, right? But that what I just showed you is essentially the first pictures that they showed on social media, telling you what I'm talking about right now. Women would generally say, you know, I'm going to do the hot girl summer thing after they've gone through a lot of emotional heartache and stuff like that, and then eventually pull the trigger on the divorce, directly or indirectly. And then men would now start their own pain. That's typically how it goes, right? And this is why, because he typically doesn't see it coming. He doesn't see it coming that she will, like men, when we go to the altar, we mean to stay in that marriage for the rest of our life. We don't necessarily mean to be faithful. I'm talking in general now, right? Or whatever your idea of faithfulness is. But in terms of staying forever, we mean that, right? And a lot of time we may be going through stuff in the marriage and we may still stay there, right? And just because men don't like the idea of feeling like a failure. They need to feel like the hero. And finishing what you started is usually a sign of that. Okay, that's usually a sign of that. So I just didn't see them align in terms of what I can even see from optics, right? And those things tends to be consistent all the way to the inside. You may say, hey, don't judge the book by its cover. Well, the cover of a book will tell me a lot. Okay, tell me a lot about what I need to know about the inside, and it usually is very close. It doesn't always mean it's absolute, but it usually means it's very close. All right. So I just didn't. I never saw it. So what is the lesson in this for us? What's the lesson in this for us? I want you to understand that when the scriptures says be unequally yoked together with unbelievers, it means believing in the same ideologies, being aligned in ideologies, in core values. Okay, core values. It's not necessarily about the religion. Okay, at least you should try to grab that wisdom from this Bible verse, right? I'm not preaching to you. Matter of fact, I want you to make it completely not religious, right? Just in multi-dimensional ways. We don't align. You should engage and say, hey, is this a deal breaker for me or not? Especially as a man. Okay. All right. And then for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? Righteousness with respect to the core value belief system. Okay. Unrighteousness, not in terms of somebody's going to hellfire. It's with respect to whatever the core values that you're trying to measure against. That will become the frame of reference. Okay. And I just never saw it. I just never believed it. Okay. Could I be wrong? Yes, absolutely. But I'm just saying, start paying attention to things like this And you will find that human beings, we have patterns. Okay, you will find that very quickly that human beings, we do have patterns. All right, and let me just go ahead and remove this from the screen. All right, yes, we do have patterns, and you can, if you start looking for it, you see it. But it starts with building yourself. If you have, because a frame of reference is yourself, your lens, the filter that you look at life with, is essentially what you'll be using to gauge these things, right? You need to build your lens and your filter in life, and that's like building yourself, and that's with respect to the social construct that we live in, right? If you're a Muslim person, be aware. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, doesn't mean you can't do it. If you're a Muslim person and you want to marry a religious Christian person, you need to be aware that there's gonna be a conflict that will create. You need to be self-aware about that. It's extremely dangerous when you're not aware about that, or even worse, when you're in denial about it. Okay, if you are a person who is an Igbo person in Nigeria and you're about to marry a Yoruba person within the same Nigeria, I'm not saying don't do it. You need to be aware that crossing that line is going to create conflicts, and you need to learn how to handle such conflicts because they are coming. See, being two different individuals, just because you're a human being and I'm a different human being, is going to create conflict. You need to be aware of that. You need to be extremely self-aware about that. And if you're not, you're just going to point fingers at the other person in the future. You're going to call them evil. And when you do that, you're effectively pointing 4 fingers back at yourself. We're extremely predictable. Okay? Maybe it's not you. Maybe you're a free-spirited person. You said, you know what? Even though I'm a Black American person from South Carolina, I'm about to marry Highland Girl Q from Jamaica, right? You need to be aware that that's going to create a level of conflict. The awareness is 85% of the battle won.